the socialist salute, as I'm dubbing it. So we get the first one up. This is just a Labour MP talking about this and saying we need to be supporting them taking the knee, because of course that was the stance throughout this. It is a leftist point, socialist salute. Therefore, Labour supports it. And of course, the Tory MPs also agree because they're also leftists, apparently. I don't know. I'm so goddamn sick of it. Tory MP admits it was not right to boo taking the knee. Yeah. Conservatism, folks.
It was not right to boo the 1936 England team for giving the Sieg Heil.
They were just standing up for German solidarity or something.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand.
Yeah, so
They were ethically correct.
The other thing about this is, as mentioned, the mural has been desecrated. So this is a mural to Marcus Rashford that was put up in response to him campaigning that the government should pay for children's meals instead of the parents. And he got that victory, so someone put up a mural to him with a quote. And then someone went down and they defaced the mural with the words, well, the F word, the S word, and the B word. None of them racial slurs. None of them in a phrase. They're just on their own. Just F word.
I mean, I think we can say the word bastard.
I
think that's it. But
the point there being that none of those are racial. None of them are phrased in a racial way. In which case, it's not about race. That is, it's about the issue. Seems like someone's upset that he lost rather than because he black.
Yeah, I mean, this was scrawled on his mural an hour after the defeat, an hour after he'd failed the penalty shootout. So it really does seem to be more about the fact that he lost the issue rather than the skin color of the person. I mean, he didn't write anything referencing the skin color. Why does he have a mural? He's not dead.
Yeah, it is a bit weird.
He's not a winner. He's not dead. Why does he have any kind of monument?
So the response to this from him was to say that he accepts that he's not very good at playing the game, but he won't apologize for having brown skin, which
no one asked him to.
The person who graffitied the mural wasn't asking for that. Okay,
he was asking that you win,
but whatever. So what happened? Well, of course, leftists jumped on this because they've got nothing else to do with their evenings, and a Trotskyist-run organization called Stand Up to Racism decided to organize a protest. Protest? I don't even know what to call it. A rally?
Well,
a rally in which they all took the knee in front of this mural after people had put, love letters all over it.
Yeah. And a hate crime probe is being launched into this.
Because someone put the F word on the mural. It's like,
I'm unhappy that you lost.
But there is no... They're not there saying anything racial, and therefore we need a hate crime investigation on the basis of race.
And literally Marcus Rashford turns around and goes, yeah, well, I'm not apologising for being black. It's like, no one's asking you to.
Yeah. Anyway, so if we can go to the next one, Stand Up to Racism were outside chanting for BLM as well, which was pretty damn cringe. But let's just go to the video and play this just so people can see what went on. Audio?
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
They do.
I like it. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Who disagrees?
Also, he's not dead. Like, don't you guys usually do this after the cops have shot someone or, someone died? Like, why are you outside a mural chanting Black Lives Matter and then they took the knee to more chanting?
Guy misses a penalty. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. What? Can't he just be better at football?
Like, I know, someone, some people have been saying the N-word online, but he's not dead. I don't know what else to say. So here's the first mural, as mentioned, so you can see people putting up supportive messages there. Presumably, this is in response to the fact that he had people saying the N-word online, and therefore it's, it's giving support, which I don't not understand, but it's a bit strange to have this deification. And you could argue this one would be okay, but it doesn't end there, does it?
No.
So in response, loads of people have been picking up murals to him and the other black players.
To
which
losers.
Is strange.
To people who lost. To people who didn't win.
So we go to this one. This is them putting up another one, which is clearly just a fetish. You can scroll down so we can get the image here. Why? What is this?
Here are the three men that cost England the game. We're going to put crowns on them. Never apologise for who you are. What, losers? I don't know. I actually think that maybe you should apologise for being a loser.
I remember the image of the Italian guy who won with his crown and the cup.
Yeah,
because
the actual winner.
He's there with his crown, and they're like, nah, put these graffiti crowns on the players who lost because people said the N-word online.
But what about the rest of the team? They lost too.
They're
also losers.
You would argue it's in response to them getting
it is.
specifically singled out because of their race by
But who singled them out? Who was saying diversity this, diversity that, diversity the other, diversity the... Oh, look at our black players.
It's a good question.
Who
So,
did that?
There's, if we go to the next one, you can see the organization that put this up. They took a bunch of pictures. It's just one thing.
Never
And then-
apologize for who you are.
They're not the only ones. Another person did this. So if we go to the next one, you can see the 3 young kings. Keep your heads held high. And again, it's like a drawing with them having crowns on.
I noticed they didn't draw a cup in their hands.
I don't get it. Like, what's with the deification? Like, saying racism bad and deifying the black players as kings is 2 different things. And they're not the same thing. Let's be frank. So there's also art and propaganda being produced about this, which is really strange. So this is the England verified account tweeting out, "Our 3 lions love heart," and then it's 3 drawings of the black players.
Crying.
I don't know why they're crying. Like,
Because
why
they
would you-
lost. This is what they looked like after they took
But
their
I know,
penalties.
but that's the nonsense of, like, we're going to produce propaganda. It's called Our 3 Lions, and they've got their shadows as the lions, right? So it's trying to make them look strong, and yet at the same time you've got the players crying.
But it's so disrespectful to the rest of the players because, like, look, I know you scored your goals, but that doesn't make you a lion.
But
When you
also-
miss your goals, you're a lion. If
I just-
people say nasty words to you on the
I
internet,
can't imagine being Italian and looking at this.
oh god,
I just like, what are the English doing in response to losing? They're calling themselves lying lions with pictures of their players
no,
crying.
they're only calling their black players lions.
Yeah,
They're not calling their other players lions because for some reason we have a weird racial divide in the England team at this point. And if you lose and you're black, you get called a lion. But if you lose and you don't and you score, you just get ignored.
but imagine if you're like just the Italian guy. Like, you got on your phone, you see this, you're like, right, I'm going back to the cup. I'll see you in a bit. Like, what the hell, man?
The English have lost their minds. Got it.
This isn't the only one either. There's another one of this in which you've got people making more propaganda
95,000 likes.
for these kings. I'm like,
The people who miss their penalties.
if you can agree that singling out the black players, as the leftists did originally, and as the racists did as well, the people saying the M-word online, there's that. Both of those things are wrong. Singling them out yet again in a weird way, in a fetishized way, is also bad. It doesn't help the situation at all. What would is a return to issue politics and liberal politics instead of race politics. But, I guess we're just stuck in this quagmire for the rest of the 1,000 years. So there's also more incoherent propaganda.
I love this so much. Right, Pete Hitchens tweeted this out. If we can scroll down a bit so we can see the full picture. If we can open up because so it's in the screen, but you can see it's ITV Stand with England. Right, together we will never lose, and the picture's been colorized to make it look like it's some sort of 1960s civil rights photograph or something like that. Right, but this is just so incoherent. Stand with England. Well, they're all kneeling. Together we'll never lose. You did lose. What the hell is wrong with you? What is wrong with you venerating losers? Like on the shelf behind Callum, we have a little model of the HMS Victory. That's not there because they lost. You know, if Nelson wouldn't get his column in Trafalgar Square, we wouldn't have called it Trafalgar Square. If he'd lost the Battle of Trafalgar, there wouldn't be any point in venerating a loser. What is going on? I hate this attitude. I hate it.
Also, the extreme nonsense of ITV doing this. ITV, we're anti-racist. ITV have job applications where if you are white, you cannot apply. We've covered this before. That organization is like, yeah, death to racism, but also whites need not apply.
Yeah.
Incoherent. So just to talk about why we're kneeling, why these players are standing up, why kneeling, is just an LBC article trying to list the history of this. So they mentioned that Colin Kaepernick in 2016 was the first one to do it in a big setting. And
That's
he
right.
says,
Calling America a systemically racist country.
I am not going to get up to show pride in a country that oppresses black people and people of color. Right. Okay. So you just socialist lie about the U.S. Socialist talking point. The United States is an unbelievably racist country in 2016. Okay. And then in 2016, of course, the BLM movement sparked up and ended in that year because a black nationalist who specifically went out to target white police officers shot and killed white police officers in Dallas.
5 of them, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. And then after the non-racist killing of George Floyd, there was no racial element to the George Floyd death.
There was a knee on the neck, though, so I mean, it does make you wonder about the optics of taking a knee.
But but in response, the socialists jump on the idea you're taking a knee, and again, doesn't make much sense when we're talking about that's the method of death.
No.
There, which is what's said, and it's like, okay, I this doesn't make any of it look good. Like, looking at this makes it look more absurd. But anyway, talking about the GB News, Andrew Neil, the Conservative, back when people still had their heads, opposed this and said he opposed people taking the knee. So he says in here, GB News chief Andrew Neil blasts firms who, quote, took the knee and cowed to a fringe group dominated by far-left agitators and cranks.
Correct. That is a correct statement. And again, The taking of the knee by Kaepernick was specifically to suggest that America is institutionally, structurally, systemically racist. And so if you were going to import that over to Britain, then you're saying, well, okay, well, everything about Britain is also racist. So you have to kind of explain, well, why are there so many non-white people in such positions of power? Why is Priti Patel the racist in chief? How did that happen?
Why do we have job applications in the UK that are discriminatory on the basis of race, but only against white applicants?
I mean, based for saying Britain's a racist country, I suppose.
So, the GB News, because Andrew Neil's been on holiday, has done a goof.
1 month. Took exactly 1 month for GB News to go woke.
So this is a co-host. So I thought he was a guest. Turns out no, he's not a guest. He's a co-host of the show. You can see, I can't remember her name.
Mercy.
Mercy behind him. You can see her face where she's like trying not to pull a cringe face. And she's like, oh, fuck.
It's basically the meme of visible disgust. It's amazing. But this guy was insufferable. And exactly, literally 1 month to the exact day, it was on June 13th, Andrew Neil puts up his monologue going, we're not going to be a woke show, and boom, kneeling.
Yeah, and this isn't the only instance it's been a bit embarrassing in response. This is the thing, you need to keep your heads in a time of emotional nonsense. So this is a producer for GB News who tweeted out a tweet saying, this is unacceptable, we lost a game, we didn't lose our humanity, with a caption of some people seemingly attacking
13
a person.
people of colour already been stabbed. Stay safe out there, especially if you're black or brown. These English fans can never accept a loss without violence or racism. The picture is of people wearing red and white shirts, so I guess she thought, well, that's good enough. They also have the word Polska on them.
Poland. Because they're Polish players. And they're beating up Russians. So, it's just complete... but it's so obviously fake news.
Yep.
Like, they have the word Polska tattled all over them. They've got the scarves and everything. And also... there's no brown people in the picture. Also, it's just some random
Street
caption
fight.
saying that 13 people have been stabbed. No attempt to verify, and yet she tweeted that, which... what an L. What an L. So, there's also the question of...
Well, she deleted that tweet, which is why we had to get a screenshot of it, and then had to post a thing saying, yeah, I didn't fact check this, sorry. So, yeah, well, why were you trying to jump on the bandwagon? Like, what, you just, I condemn the working class of Britain. Okay, got you.
So there's the question about the minority. So the minority of people who are saying such things, and you can see our favourite race grifter here, the lady who said, what was it, white lives don't matter? That's what she's famous for.
And refused to leave England, even though she hates it here.
Saying, how do you know the racists are a small minority? Well, we have the numbers. That's the thing. So if you go to the next link, Spiked actually did some looking into this. Brendan O'Neill.
Good man, Brendan O'Neill.
Fantastic. Not someone who loses their head in the time of crisis, let's say. Mm-hmm. So he says in here, Channel 4 News reports that there has been an analysis of 850,000 tweets sent during the Euro 2020 tournament. Of those, 1,913 were flagged as potentially abusive, with just 167 were described as containing high-risk abuse. 0.02% of online chatter about this topic after the loss had any mention of something that could be labelled as abusive. By the numbers. That's the statistics we have.
So when he describes it as a moral panic, he's not wrong, is he?
No. I love how
God.
Channel 4, who did that, decided that they wouldn't make that the headline. Only 0.02% of comments online.
Well, it's hard to inflame people's hatred against England if you do that.
So if you go to the next one, this is what they said instead. Nearly 2,000 abusive tweets target Marcus Rashford, Jadon, Sacco, and so on and so forth. It's just like, wow, okay. So you got the number. You managed to show to yourselves that this is a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage. And you're like, yeah, let's just pick it up. Let's just not mention the percentage, because it doesn't go with the narrative, does it? Doesn't help. Well, would help reality, but that's not important. So there's also the claim here that, well, the UK must be irredeemably racist to the core.
Yeah, This Morning presenter says the core of the UK is rotten. Is that okay?
Because a 12-year-old said the N-word online.
Well, 2,000 12-year-olds said the N-word online.
Apparently with actual abuse, it was down to 167.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, so almost, just under 200 12-year-olds had access to Twitter, and so the UK is irredeemably racist, rotten to the core. Again, it puts you in the Primyava Gopal camp of, why are you here then, if that's your opinion? Like, I wouldn't live in a country that I thought was irredeemably racist against England. Like, I wouldn't live in Italy. You know?
But anyway, as we mentioned before, which is that...
just joking, Italians.
The response from the Conservatives is to say that we will prosecute such people, we will prosecute such children. As we noticed, there was a 12-year-old who was the first person to be arrested for this. That's why I keep mentioning someone who's 12, because that was the person that was found by the police. And they got 20,000 likes for that on Twitter. The local police force we've arrested a 12-year-old. and then they got 20,000 likes.
Oh, thank you. Racism's over.
Oh, we did it, boys. Racism's over.
If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 p.m. UK time on lotuseaters.com.